from the backstretch at Saratoga, this is the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Handicappers Report alongside Seth Merrow. I am Anthony Mormino in the mosquito capital of the world, ladies and gentlemen. Another rain dousing. Humidity's a little up. Turf course was rated as firm yesterday. I'm suspicious.
Yeah, I think Chad Brown would definitely disagree with that after the in Italian result.
And I think this is the first time yesterday in stakes action 3 odds-on favorites lost.
Oh.
I keep stats of every day that at least 3 odds-on horses lose. But yesterday we had it in stakes action. And as the people who have always asked me, how do you pick against these horses? I'm like, you ever see them lose? And yesterday you saw 3 of them lose. One of them with a most legitimate excuse. And, I thought it was a cold in Italian white beam exacta. I was wrong by about 4 inches.
Yeah.
It was a cold white beam in Italian exacta.
Last stride there. Yikes.
Although I thought she should have, listen, I'm never going to, I just thought she should have bottomed out the field. I feel that way all the time when you are the significant speed.
Well, Chad Brown after the race was kind of saying that the condition of the ground was playing against her a little bit.
Okay. All right.
And he said she still ran very well.
She did.
She
did.
Just got nipped at the wire. But it was also interesting to read. I think it was Grenig's follow-up, or maybe Mike Welch, but whoever covered for the Daily Racing Forum yesterday made the note that for the second year in a row, Chad Brown has had 4 horses in the race, and for the second year in a row, the longest price of the 4 won. Yeah,
yes,
crazy.
I liked her more than Fluffy Socks and market segmentation, but apparently I was in the minority there. And what's interesting is that the Breeders' Cup is at Santa Anita this year, which means the Philly and Merrow Turf is at 1.25 miles. I'll be intrigued on In Italian in that race. Remember, she lost to Tuesday last year in the Breeders' Cup. Seth has drive-by cheerers going by. That's how big he is.
That was
drive-by.
That's the first. I don't think anybody.
Not when I've been on the set with you, but that was go get him, Seth. We're worried about the leaf blower. Now I have to worry about Seth's groupies now. But an interesting day yesterday, and of course a $94 winner in the Sanford when the 3-10 shot was left at the gate. And I've said it before. I picked against that one. I'm like, that's why we run the races. This is regardless of how today goes on my 60th birthday, Seth.
Happy birthday, by the way. I had it written at the top of my page. I was going to do it before we went to
this
break.
is 5 decades now I've been working for Capital Off Track Betting.
Sheesh.
This is now marking been here 30 plus years. I don't think I'll be here 30 more. But And I talk about the horizontals, which I'm getting my neophyte education in, is it's not redboarding. I've said it my whole life. Brian and Nato, who I respect has been so highly, we vehemently disagree about this, where I just think the reward is so great with picking against them.
Yeah.
Dollar
pick 6 yesterday, $344K. And the 50 cent pick 522. But you had to get the $94 horse in the mix.
And when I see those type of things, and like I said, I have no way of knowing this, and that's why I'm always interested. I was always interested in the data. You only get the probable pays when it's the last leg. With the pick 3, you're in pretty good shape because there's so many of them. But I would be interested to know the percentage of tickets that had in Italian in that horizontal because they kicked her out of the pick six. And the juvenile, like, is it 80%? Because then you'd know you're really chasing a big pot if you're wiping out 80% in one leg.
Well,
You know?
I think yesterday with in Italian, that wouldn't shock me if she
was what, 1-5?
Yeah, I think when they went off, she was 1-5. Yeah. So, I say, it wouldn't shock me that she attracted a lot of tickets in the pick place.
Now, also, did you see at the end of the Diana, Chad Brown did not go to the winner?
Oh, right. He said
he went to in Italian. His assistant, I presume, went over to White Beam, etc.
And he said in the winner's circle, when the press was gathered around afterwards, somebody specifically asked, so how do you feel about an Italian losing? And he said, you have a horse on a streak, the pro tem leader of the division, you don't want to see him lose, whether they're your horse or not. And so we're disappointed by that. But that's when he mentioned, I don't think the ground really played to her.
All right. Well, we'll see.
But he said she still ran great.
She did run great. And White Beam gets her grade 1 for Juddmonte as a brood mare now. She becomes invaluable. I agree. I don't trust I don't. They can call it whatever they like. I refer to, you remember Always Dreaming when he won the Kentucky Derby, right? People will be shocked, I think, to look at the chart that it says fast.
No.
If we ran that Kentucky Derby for people, like 10 seconds of it, they'd be like, that's fast. Always believe your own thoughts until you're dissuaded prominently. I do not think that was a firm turf course yesterday, and I'll go forward with that. And, in Italian would probably get firm turf course at Santa Anita, see if she likes the 10 furlongs, but see where she ends up next. I also want to say Casa Creed, and, all truth, almost everybody that's ever been around Lee Einsiedler loves him. So, and I've known him for years, and he's that was a tremendous job by Casa Creed.
Yeah.
It was awesome. The performance, second time coming back from Saudi Arabia. He just gave the field the back of his hand.
And the conversation we had yesterday was, well, you wonder, is Casa Creed still Casa Creed at 7? And I said yesterday, and you kind of agreed with the Saudi Arabian race, that near miss, that was a great performance, and then ran very well behind Caravel, who's a monster.
He got like a 99, right? In the Caravel race,
in the Jaipur. And then yesterday he proved, Casa Creed is still Casa Creed.
It was powerful. Like
Bill Mott in the winner's circle afterwards said, the game plan was to come up here and aim for and run in the 4-star days.
That's what I was.
But he was just knocking down the walls, and so they brought him out there, and he looked fabulous yesterday. Now Mott said, as you would expect, we'll go back. We'll kind of see how he feels tomorrow. Hope it didn't take too much out of him. Got 4 weeks. We're still hoping for the 4-star day,
which is ironic because here's an example. The Kelso yesterday was a grade 2. Forget what they tell you. It was a grade 2 race, and the 4-star Dave is what, $500,000 grade 1. So you're thinking like, well, that was a big performance yesterday, but I'll be running for $500,000. Yeah. So I would think it was just a dynamic performance. And in the Sanford, they don't pay off for, you ran the best race. They pay off for crossing the finish line first. And $94. I did not. Busy man today. Is that the longest, the highest mutual price in the history of the Sanford?
Oh, I don't know.
It's got to be pretty close. There haven't been a bevy full of $100 winners in stakes races. I mean, that's just, there's usually, we talked about this last year, or maybe 2 years ago. Remember I think Gary Siaka had like a $89 winner on opening day. And my thought was, have we seen the highest price mutual? Because $100 winners at Saratoga are about one every 3 years, if my mind is working today. So I was like, so that might be the highest mutual of the meet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
certainly the potential is there at $94. There's no question about it. But
3-10 on a juvenile after we saw Gulfport lose last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
opening day. That was the Schuylerville that saw the upset with the Contessa runner.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've said this before. I embrace chaos. I mean, I'm that guy. I mean, I've said it before. My goal is to hit. It's either 2 or 3 pick fives in a year, and I think my math says that will get me close to being in the black. By the way, it's 55 weeks now.
Oh, nice, with the positive ROI.
Yes,
Very good. Very
55
good.
weeks because I'm having a decent opening week and I had an awful. So I'm replacing an awful week. So I'm actually getting more ahead. So.
Oh, as compared to
yeah,
very good.
I'm replacing a soft week with a above average week. Now the problem comes the next 4 weeks at Saratoga were good.
Well, the problem comes when they run the matron this year.
That's the problem. Seth is that is really the
Speaking of $90 horses.
Yeah, that's that I've said that is the time that the math is going to get murky.
But hopefully by then you're improved from last year.
Well, as I said, she basically obliterated my awful final week at Saratoga. She made it neutral, so that's why. Anything social last night for you for Saturday to
me? Gene Kirshner and Mike McAdam and I went downtown and had dinner.
Very upset with Gene, by the way. Love him. I tell him all the time. I said, just text me when you're going to be here, and I'll make arrangements so I can join that group, invite myself. And he posts all these pictures, and I said to Denise, he's at the track.
It was a quick strike for Gene. It was like the last minute. That's what it is with
Gene. That's why
he was in and out. He has a couple of like kind of longer visits during the meet. But he said opening week, I just thought, maybe I can go for a day or so. So he was here, and we went down, had a little dinner at Three Vines. That was fun. Mike, of course, from the Daily Gazette. Gene writes about horse racing for the Buffalo News, but his other profession is accounting and whatnot. Does a great job out there in the Buffalo area. But that was fun last night. And then I thought, I'll walk around downtown. I was a pretty frequent downtown guy when I was younger, but man, I do not remember the zoo-like atmosphere it has become. It is nuts down there now. And so I walked in a couple of places just to see if I knew anybody. And I did run into a couple of people.
Wow.
I believe me, I was wondering, am I just now like an old guy? And it seems like, because it used to be in the summertime, like the Metro was the big place when I was a kid. There would be kind of a line out of that.
Yeah.
But last night there was a line out of probably 4 different bars downtown,
right.
And like a long, like you were in this line for 45 minutes maybe. And I just don't remember that. And then the streets are just jammed with people walking around. It's great. It looked like a lot of fun.
As I remember it going back literally half a lifetime ago, Caroline Street was just pandemonium. You had Gaffney's kind of at the bottom.
It always was.
You had around the corner, you had the Metro, as you said. You had the T&L at the top of it. And it was basically, it was only one block, but it was basically the French Quarter.
Yeah, no, and you're exactly Bourbon Street. That's what it's like. Yeah, and you're exactly right. And as I say, I'm thinking, am I just remembering it? But it really seemed to have ramped up a little bit.
And when you start to know fewer and fewer people out, that's when you're becoming the old man.
Yeah, no, that was.
But we got any promos we do before we throw it to the DePaul play of the day?
No DePaul play of the day here. Bic's going to do it live on Lucille.
Live. Oh, so now you got to wait for all those people that started their DVD, so it's going to be live. Can't see what we have.
And
wraps up the first week today.
Top of the hour, we will have. Hopefully, I texted him. I haven't heard back yet. But Danny Velasquez, the winning trainer, the winner. He was over the moon in the winner's circle yesterday. A couple of guests that have done a little charity work for the TRF. Chris Carpenter used to be a Major League Baseball player. I believe he was a pitcher, but he's written a children's book, and part of the proceeds going to the TRF. Chandler Pabis, a young guy who did a project for the National Junior Honor Society, raised quite a bit of money for the TRF. We'll have them join us. And then Lee Einseidler will come by, had Casa Creed yesterday. Lee's great. It was easy to root yesterday.
Absolutely. And also, that season with Mike Francesa. Well known, right?
Yeah.
A quick note, thanks to the New York Race Association, posted about an hour ago, 3 and 6. Races 3 and 6 are off the turf. They're going to obviously try and hold the stakes race as long as they can. So 3 and 6 off the turf, and I will get to it, but I'm rather sure that's going to be the mile races, right? There were mile 16, so there'll be a mile out of the Wilson Chute now, which is probably a better race than going to the mile and 8 on the dirt years ago, or shortening up those mile races.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of one of the primary reasons they did it.
Yeah. And the 2-year-olds, though, they still shorten up to 7,
Yeah.
don't they? They don't run the mile.
Yeah. At least certainly early in the meet.
All right. So there's the ball play. They will be live on this set in about 1 hour. So why don't we kick off?
Sounds good.
Sunday's card. The opener, 3-year-olds. Claimers in for 25, racing 6.
I have a 3, 6, 4, and 2. I'm going to put Speaking of the Devil on top. This one comes in off third place finish last time, Horseshoe Indy, and it was on the turf against allowance runners. So we get back to the dirt where if you look at the PPs, this horse probably is better, but also dropping in for a tag today. Has run for a tag once before, but a far more expensive tag. So I think class move, getting back to the dirt today. Irod Ortiz on board for Steve Asmussen and West Point and company. I'll put Speaking of the Devil on top. And I'm being master of the obvious here because we're looking at 3 to 5 on the morning line. And, again, as I say many, many times, when the betting public jumps on a favorite now, they jump on. So it wouldn't shock me if we went down from there even. Garuvan in the second spot. I just have to believe this horse is better than the last. Whenever you see a total clunker like that, you worry that the horse hasn't just kind of gone in the wrong direction completely. That was so bad. I think the horse will rebound off the claim for Mike Maker. But to add to the concern, they claim the horse for 75, tosses in a clunker. They come back for 25. And I was like, a little bit leery there. But Gabe coming in off a nice win against Allowance Company, but Allowance Company at Belterra. So how will this horse class up with this bunch this afternoon? This is a little bit of a puzzle, but I went 3, 6, 4, and 2. I say puzzle. I'm on the 3 to 5 shot. I don't think that 3 to 5 shot's invincible, though. I think the morning line is short. I think it's probably right, but I'm not convinced this is an invincible type of a horse.
If we learned anything from yesterday's card, so we had a 1 to 5 and on the board would have been 2 to 5, but 3 to 10 lose. And what was Annapolis? I think 9 to 10, just under odds on.
95 cents to $1.
Which I understand the other two being short price. There's no way I saw Annapolis.
No, we talked about it yesterday morning. I was
field.
interested to see where the horse went off because I thought I'm with you. I thought, I'm not quite buying into this.
Right.
But David Aragona again nails it.
Yes. And trust me, I'm not David Aragona doesn't need a PR firm, and I'm not the PR, but you would not have seen 3 to 5 on this type of horse in other administrations, but they would get bet down to 3 to 5. And this is a great job. The only thing I'm going to add, is the one thing I do like about Speaking of the Devil, but I also want to draw it to our, we understand a lot of fans love Saratoga. It's almost 100% of their horse racing consumption. You look at the May 13th race at Churchill Downs, they may seem as raw numbers, scintillating fractions, 21 and 2, 44 and 4 for the half, drawing the inside post. But as far as I know, at least of big time tracks, Churchill has by far the longest run up to the beam at 6 furlong races. You will regularly see opening quarter miles at Churchill Downs 6 furlong races that maybe would make your eyeballs pop out. But, just to let our fans out there know, but it's 3, 4, 6 for me. And once again, it'll be interesting to see what the folks do with the 3 betting. Because as you said, when they sink their teeth into these horses, they'll just keep going lower and lower and lower. I also want to make one thing. I think there's a big difference between 3 to 5, 2 to 5, and 1 to 5. My sisters, who are great marketing analysts for horse racing because of how they consume it, they kind of think it's almost all the same. I'm like, no way. A 1 to 5 shot is rarefied air. A 3 to 5 shot is I think there's 7 to 1, 6 to 1, 5 to 1 is all the same to me. But 3 to 5, 2 to 5, 1 to 5 isn't the same to me. And the math would. I
would say they're the same to me in that they're not. Those prices aren't attractive to me at all on a win side of things.
You're being interested.
4 to 5 starts if you're really feeling like 4 to 5 maybe becomes a little bit attractive.
I agree under right circumstances.
But 1 to 5, 2 to 5, 3 to 5, I don't care.
Now here'd be an interesting thing. taking the percentage of tickets that In Italian had in pick threes. Now, the juvenile race isn't fair because they're different, but to find out something like that, and then to find a 3 to 5 shot in older horse with more confirmed form, and to see what percentage of tickets are in their pick three, to see how the public sees a 1 to 5 shot versus 3 to 5. I think there'd be a great disparity. I think the 1 to 5 shot would be on 80% of the tickets, and the 3 to 5 shot would be on 60%. I don't know though. I'm guessing.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting to analyze
love that
some of that stuff. But I've said a bunch of times that, again, the betting public these days gets on horses. And when I'm in doing the afternoon show and I look up, and not just on an IRA circuit, on a B or a C level circuit, and you look up, hey, $5,000 non-winners of 2 lifetime, 1 to 5. And I think just on principle at this level, I can't, because 1 to 5 to me says if they think it's invincible.
And by the way, he got Pirate right also because he made odds on.
Who looked really good.
And was.
Yeah. Second race today. Speaking of conditional claimers, $25,000 tags, non-winners of 2 lifetime. They'll come out of the chute at a mile.
375, ladies and gentlemen, for me, and Jolly Miss Jill for Linda Rice, who's just continued this 25% roll. I think many people are going to see the 2 races down at Gulfstream Park, including the second one when was a well-beaten runner-up to Munnings Gold. I'd be happy to sign on for 5 to 2. Number 7, Yogi, my second pick for Jimmy Bond, comes off of a good effort, off of a freshening. And for third, for all fans of, I guess, one of the Hall of Fame TV shows of all time, Alex Cramden making the 4th career start, getting blinkers, 375.
No surprise that Alex Cramden started the career in the barn of Al Gold, who always has clever names. I have it 5, 7, 3, and 4. I put Alex Cramden on top. The race 2 back, I was kind of keying on that. And it stands out from the pack. So you have to wonder, was that a little bit of an aberration? But then you can tie it into, it was the lone time this horse was in for a tag. So claimed out of that race. They moved up into a saltier starter allowance condition. They get back in for the tag today. I think we get the rebound to a better effort. Yogi in the second spot off a nice second place finish when dropped to this level last time. And Jolly Miss Jill for, as you say, the aforementioned Linda Rice, who, again, I think she's going to be fun to watch during the Saratoga meet, coming out of the 4 straight New York meet titles. It's a lot tougher up here at Saratoga, but so far I'm thinking she's doing okay on the quest for another one. But as I say, the waters get much deeper up here as far as that meet title. And the second, though, for me, 5, 7, 3, and 4.
On to the third race. Remember, we're off the turf, going the mile. 3-year-olds and up, fillies, optional claimers 62, non-winners at 2. Other than, and I feel very confident here, Seth, unofficially, that this race is going to get heavy scratches from the turf runners and will be dominated by the MTOs.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just go through this and kind of like, I see the 1, 2, 3, 4 scratching. The 6 scratching. I'd like to see the 7 stay in. And I know the other day we had the MTO scratch that looked like they had the field over the barrel. I think these guys have the field over the barrel, the 8, 9, 10.
6. The 6 is, I
use
the 6
is going to stay in?
Yeah, I think so. There's a couple of off the turf races that look pretty good. But but I went with the MTOs. Well,
this isn't the last race of the day for Phil. He's won the last race of the day, 2 out of 3 days, right? So
I'm sure he'll take an early one.
Yeah.
I have it 9, 8, 10, and 6. Again, went out to the MTO. Sunset Louise up on top. Comes in off a couple of wins so far this year. And 2 starts so far this year. So in good form. They get the surface they want. Scratch Cat. First start of the year was down at Churchill. It was a clunker. I'm hoping the horse needed that and moves forward. Again, we've talked about Phil Bauer a little bit in the past couple of days as having gotten out
to
it.
It's
crazy. It could be
it's
because
it
does
2 Phils.
Does
it 2 Phils?
Got
that
but
going.
It does seem like every year there is some trainer who really has a bang up first couple of weeks. Last year, again, it was Phil Bauer. Pharaoh's Heart on the turf last time. The race just before that ran away and hid from a field. A field of 2, so wins by 20 lengths and obviously a scratch-reduced field there. But again, did it on the dirt, gets the surface they want today. And again, I always like to, when I'm doing dirt picks, and there are some live MTOs, I still like to throw in one that's in the body of the field because sometimes they don't make the decision until a little later in the day. And some of the MTOs are already kind of had their decision made. So the horse in the body of the field that I think is a player in here is sailed by the number 6, 9, 8, 10, and 6.
Isn't there also a thing like about Lasix being administered?
That's what, yeah. That's
if I was guessing which one of the main body would stay in is the 2. Veronica Green, I could see maybe, but the running style would seem to be up against it going a mile. I'm 7. I'm 9, 8, 10 now. I do think these MTOs will dominate the race. And Sunset Louise, right now at this moment with the racetrack and etc., I want a little giddy up early in the race. I think you can control it here. So I am going to be 9, 8, 10 in a race that I feel strongly will be decimated by the main body scratches. And really the MTOs are King Kong in here.
Before we go to the break, as usual, the Dark Horse Play of the Day brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga. Again, always tout you to swing by. You'll have a lot of fun if you walk through racing memorabilia, apparel, housewares, and whatnot. But it's always a lot of fun to browse through. And then there's a shop down the street, Impressions of Saratoga, very nice as well. And we were talking about my tie yesterday on the show, and Marianne Barker from the Dark Horse Mercantile Impressions sent a picture of a selection of ties down there, so you can find a nice tie if you're looking for that for the track or beyond as well. But that's just one of many things you find down there. So again, tout you stopping by. But the Dark Horse Play of the Day for today comes up in race number 5. State Bred Maiden Special is going a quick 5.5. I'm going to use number 6 Collected Special on top for trainer Delgado, who does very well with first-time starters. That's always a bonus. But Collected is interesting as a sire of first-time starters. On the win end, doesn't necessarily jump out, but 37 first-time starters, 2 winners, 4 seconds, 5 thirds. So they're live early on. And again, not maybe necessarily on the win end, but I didn't see anything else in here that was jumping out to maybe dissuade me from taking a little pop in here on this one. There's a sibling from the dam called Exclusive Zip that had a couple of thirds and then a win. So I thought there was some win early talent, top and bottom perhaps, but then you tie it in with the stats for the trainer. 6-1 on the morning line. Dark Horse Play of the Day for this Sunday afternoon. Race number 5 at Saratoga. Horse number 6, Collected Special.
We'll be right back.
For 4 generations and looking forward to a 5th, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued their 99-year tradition of delighting their faithful following with the finest authentic Italian recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Some things have changed in the last 99 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Seth, Merrow, and Anthony Mormino. And once again, I will formally, because you brought it up and I just jumped on, happy birthday to Mr. Mormino. And,
60 years old.
I said the other day, it only gets better.
There's
I just keep telling myself.
I forget what who famous person said though. I knew if I stuck around long enough, this would happen. Not my line.
I like that though.
It's either Yogi Berra or something.
That's a good. That sounds kind of Yogi Berra-ish.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. The 4th race this afternoon. B condition. Oh, you getting some cake today? What's your favorite kind of cake? I'm chocolate with chocolate frosting.
I like that's high on the list, but my most favorite one would be either strawberry or raspberries as the filling.
Okay.
Because
I'm
I
not a
like
big,
the way.
but
I like
occasionally, if it's done right, that's very
I love
good.
the way those two fruits interact with chocolate cake.
I'm a huge raspberry guy.
Okay.
All right. Fourth race, conditional claimer, B condition, 3/4 of a mile.
One quick note, just because I have some free time. The B condition won't exist here because the B condition, as it often is in New York, is for 3-year-olds to give them a little protection against their elders. No 3-year-olds saw the dance. 618 Ensign Parker is my top pick here, making the third start since late part of winter. Dylan Davis has the mount back after being runner-up in a 3L down at Belmont May 28th. For second from the rail, Let Freedom Spring. Orlando Noda claimed this horse for 16, 2 races back, already got a W. And for third, number 8, Norgay. Oscar Brera sends out this runner after running in 3L races. I think gets a break. It gets steeper in here, but 618.
I have a 4, 7, 1, and 2. I'm going to put Charger on top for Rudy Rodriguez. Luis Saez jumps on board, gets a little additional class relief. Really, most of the races on the page, this horse has been racing against slightly better after having been claimed right up here at the end of the meet last year for this price. So I think taking the little dip back down to this price might be beneficial and move Charger forward. Herbie, am I pronouncing that correct? Herbie, the number 7 horse, comes in off a couple of allowance tries up at the Finger Lakes. Before that was on the turf down at Tampa. I think I'm guessing off the Finger Lakes races might wind up being a good match with this bunch in here. Going to be interesting to see.
I think it's an intriguing race.
I do too.
I mean, you can see
because there are those certain puzzles. How is the horse going to do from the Finger Lakes? How Charger will do taking just kind of half a step down the. I'm with you.
Right.
Then the 9 to 5 favorite in the third spot. Let Freedom. Spring. It's Orlando Noda, Irod Ortiz. Plenty of early speed from the rail, and if Let Freedom Spring is getting the lead somewhere within the 8th pole, you will know. We will all know. As Orlando Noda and team very, very vocal as they come
we know
down.
There's at least Gene Kirscher. He just sent me a message. He is listening on his way home, and as a Syracuse guy, he likes my choices of color. So hopefully, like you said, this. So he indicated to you he had this, and I know Gene is famous for that. A quick hit and out, but there'll be a longer one. Also, quick note on the goofy side: In Italian joins Conquistador Cielo and Devona Dale as same letter, 2 names, losing grade 1s at Saratoga at odds on.
Man, you talk about an esoteric stat. That's going in the book of esoteric stats. Very good.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes, and I say this all the time, my mother was 100% right when she said, if you were to spend 80% of the time you do with this thing, with law things, your life would be a lot different. I go, I agree.
Mothers are so smart.
It'd be less fun. On to the 5th, state bred, 2-year-olds, maiden special weights, 5.5 on the dirt.
The 5th state
that
bred,
was in nobody's article today. Recapturing in Italians, odds on loss in a grade
does
1.
not get and of course the most famous comic book character who only dated women with Superman, Lois Lane, Lana Lang.
I am awful with pop culture. It's really never been a thing for me. Never.
As a kid, I was a comic book reader, but I was more Superman. I was not the Marvel universe.
When the guy at the 50th Daytona called the winner, who was Ryan Newman, hello, Newman, it felt like a ton of great. I watched 3 of his shows. I never laughed once.
How could you not like Seinfeld?
I did.
Crazy.
It's not funny.
Crazy. Well, there
got 2 characters that as soon as they come on the camera, I want to leave the room. George and Kramer. I'm like, I don't want this in my life.
I could see that.
Thank you.
That was one of my favorites.
But clearly, I'm in the.
And there's that kind. There are some popular shows that also didn't hit. So it's a hit or miss kind of thing. 5th, I have it 6, 7, the 1 entry and 2. Again,
we're together.
Collected special. My dark horse play of the day. Talked about that one earlier. I thought there was a little win early, top and bottom, and the trainer can get it done. So we'll play some collected special. Second spot, Ice the Kicker. You talk about a cleverly named horse. This one goes out for August Dawn Farm, which, if you don't know, the nom de plume of Bill Parcells. So I love that. Ice the Kicker in the second spot. Solimini is turning out to be an interesting win early sire. If you're not familiar, Melanie Giddings is now the trainer of Maple Leaf Mel. She was an assistant to Jeremiah Englehart when he had Maple Leaf Mel. She went out on her own a little while ago, but now Bill has Maple Leaf Mel with her, and I guess some other horses, obviously. But we'll see what this one does in debut. But again, with Solimini on top, I think interesting. And then Antonio of Venice and Cadula, the 1 and 1A, experience counts amongst the two of them. Obviously, the plain one is the one that probably will attract the
Cadula
attention.
was awful in that last race. He's not helping.
Yeah.
He's only hurting your odds. I'm hoping he scratches out.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting any help there.
So
and
6-7, the 1 entry and 2.
And one thing I know, this is not subjective. I don't think Coach was a big fan of kickers.
Wow, way.
I think Coach was in that thing. We're not so sure they're football players, but so that's cute. I'm 619, same thing here. The first time starter just taking a fly. I mean, the city zip line, I'm a fan of. And Antonio Venice is getting no help by his partner, in my opinion, as blinkers for the third career start. And then I'm outside a Knight's Courage for David Don. Showed little in the debut as blinkers today, 619.
Race number 6. Again, this one is off the turf. Sixth race goes for maiden $75,000 claimers. And again, we're on the main track here.
This is a very odd one. Did you ever see the mini 30 for 30 that Coach did?
I don't think so.
It's about a gentleman who was the last pick in the draft that the Giants had the last pick of the draft. They call him Mr. Irrelevant. He was one of the first ones. It's hard to watch because it's sad, but you see a side of Coach that I don't think a lot of people ever see. It's worth it. It's one of those mini ones. It's probably only about 24 minutes or something, and I don't look it up. It's worth the view. You get a real insight to Coach in here. It's worth it. You should watch it.
I will definitely
definitely
that whole series. I don't know that every one of them is a home run, but
first 2 years, the first 2 years
runs.
I was doing the radio show. Every one of them was a home run.
Yeah, they put a lot of time and effort, and they tell some good stories with those. So maiden 75 claimers going a mile on the dirt.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen this, and I'm just talking about the main body horses in here. 9 of them are first-time tag.
Yeah.
Usually there's like 2 or 3, maybe 4. I'm 10-8. We're going to be off the turf. We're going to come out of the Wilson shoot in here, folks, and we have the MTO of the 12 and the 1A. I until I'm disproved, I probably want to switch to the 6 here. I think speed is good. I want a horse with tactical speed in here. The 1 could be tough if they stay in. Now, here I'm thinking, Seth, this race is not going to be decimated by scratches. Mo Saturday has had plenty of chances for Al Stall, but I'm thinking Al's coming out here. Dr. Kringle, to me, is iffy to stay in. Fast Boat to Sky, I think will stay in, and that's the one with some early speed I think could help. But Ringside here would be very your top pick to me. Were you hoping for off the turf today?
No.
I
am seldom hoping for off the
So
turf.
You wanted Ringside first time?
I like him either way. I mean, it just looked like he was a horse that has some potential.
I like
and
it.
Now they switch over in the third start. Sometimes, a horse that has some potential, they don't get it done in the first couple of starts, but a little change up that makes a difference.
Going 2 turns debuting is a big stone to push up a hill. I think the 2 races were outstanding.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice this. One of the most powerful owners in racing. They don't race a lot of horses here, do they? Look who owns them.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
How many horses do you think Guitar Racing has ever run here?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Jack Sisterson.
This is a big horse.
And just so you know, and the guys know, the picks those are turf picks there. So the dirt picks 12, 2, 6, and 1A for me. I'm going to go out to the MTOs and use Wayne Lucas runner coming off a couple of dirt races at Churchill and going maiden special weight to maiden claiming. I did look at, because I had Ringside on top on the turf. but I have them down in the third spot on the dirt just because they're getting what they want, obviously, with Gamekeeper. So I went there. I put Ringside in the third spot on the dirt, and I put Dr. Kringle in between. I thought that race 2 back, the 81 Buyer down at Churchill on the dirt against Maiden Specials, kind of touted that one as a player as well. So again, on the dirt, race number 6, 12-2-6, and the 1A.
I think you got off the wrong horse. Take a quick break. We'll be back.
It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes. In front, here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Falbrough. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Handicappers Report. We're up to race number 6. Please note we are off the turf on 3 and 6 and holding for the stakes race. We'll get to in a couple moments. Still race number 9 on the turf. This is the race I wish they would start the meet off, get even more fans involved. A mile and 3/16, 3-year-olds and up, 1X.
6, 3, 2, and 1. Film Star on top. Linda Rice trainee, Jose Ortiz on board. Claimed this horse 4 starts back. And obviously, if they claimed it, was in a claimer for $75,000. But since then, has been an allowance company and it's been running very well, knocking on the door with 4 straight second-place finishes. Now, that I say quite often, is this horse just stuck in one of those, I don't really want to, I get up there, but I don't want to go by. I'll give this one more chance on that aspect. That is a concern, though. But again, it's Linda Rice, her go-to Ortiz brother, as it is, an in-law by marriage. So I'll use Film Star on top. The Princess Spur in the second spot. Third start back this season off a couple of starts down at Churchill and Ellis. Nice little improved effort. Start 1 to start 2 this year for Phil Bauer. Should be primed for a good effort. And then in the third spot, Ouster. This one's kind of interesting because we mentioned it. I said it the other day on the show. Going back years ago, one of the things I learned was Aqueduct form is a little more important than Belmont form for a lot of horses up here, as the configuration of Saratoga is closer to Aqueduct than Belmont. So that this one threw in a little clunker last time at Belmont. A, it was a stakes race, and that played into it. But B, you go to the Aqueduct races just before. This one's better. So getting up to Saratoga, I think we'll get a nice rebound for Ouster. I have it 6, 3, 2, and 1.
Wow. My favorite thought of the day isn't even in your mix. I love Prove Worthy in this spot, ladies, for Todd Fletcher. Making the 5th career start. Started in South Florida. The distance, I don't think will be any trouble. I had the Princess Spur for second for Phil Bauer. I like the early tactical speed. Film Star, I think I'll be interested in the last 3/16 of a mile. He has a running style that I favor here. I just wasn't so sure the distance was in his wheelhouse, but we will see. I am 136 now to give you another. This will be even farther out there.
Oh, you can't get farther than the
now
double
that's
letters.
Pretty good. But I'm going to bring in one of those horses, the mile and 3/16 race. Any bells for you?
Well,
it's obviously we run it about once a year, maybe. We probably had years we didn't even run it, but
it seems like, I'm sure if you bring it up, it may. It seems like there's a.
I don't get the daily racing form anymore, but I don't think they do the track record things anymore. But it's Winter's Tale.
Okay, yeah.
It's 1982 when we had no dark days, and it was the race before Conquistador Cielo lost. So I got Conquistador Cielo in twice. So that was 7th race that day of the 27 straight days of racing. Now, I had just completed my freshman year at SC. I guess the winter was horrible. They had to make up dates. So they ran 27 straight days. And Winter's Tale set the still standing, and I'll give you another one. He broke Rivalero's track record at a mile and 3:16, so I had the day he set it.
And yeah, you're right. There was that year where they lost some dates in the winter. They said, let's make it up. It'll be fun. It'll be a great Saratoga. We'll go every day. And the meet ended. Fans and people, employees like, yeah, we never did it. Horse racing is good.
And I was
every
19,
day,
and I agreed that not
every day is a little bit much. But 8th race this afternoon, optional claimer with the C condition, 7 furlongs the distance.
And my girlfriend at the time didn't want me to bet everything I had in my pocket on Rivalero. And then he sets the track record. 5-3-6, ladies and gentlemen. Sheriff Bianco's my top pick for Linda Rice. I'd sign up for 7-2 right now coming out of the Nehru Stakes. Good tactical speed in here. I think the 7 furlongs is a real home run for them starting right outside our front door. And it finally happened, Seth. The 114 for Baby Yoda is gone. Now it's in the career box.
Still shows up,
but people, I don't think, really give that a look-see. So now Baby Yoda looks like a mere mortal. But it's a major player here. 3 for 4 lifetime at Saratoga. And then Bourbon calling 5-3-6. I'm going to be interested to see what they do with Baby Yoda at 6-5.
I really debated putting the 5 on top. I went back and forth. So if I'm playing, horizontals or whatnot, I'll certainly have it in the mix. But I went 2, 5, 3, and 4. I put Nakatomi on top. It's just a talented sprinter for Wesley Ward. Comes out of a string of stakes races. I think is solid as a solid contender in here, but not, again, one of those not invincible. I think a best effort from a few in here would be good enough, and you just have to kind of guess who you're going to get it from. I have Nakatomi on top, but again, I thought Sheriff Bianco very, very interesting. And Baby Yoda, yeah, the 114 is off the page. It was almost a couple of years ago, but it was here at Saratoga, as you know. He does very well at Saratoga, so we'll see what he does this afternoon. 6-5 on the morning line. I'm going to be, because there will be the institutional memory that people will remember that 114 up here. Interested to see what he'll go off at this afternoon, but I have a 2, 5, 3, and 4.
All right. Take a quick break. When we come back, the quick call.
For 4 generations and looking forward to a 5th, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued their 99-year tradition of delighting their faithful following with the finest authentic Italian recipes made with the freshest ingredients. Some things have changed in the last 99 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Handicappers Report alongside Seth Merrow. I'm Anthony Mormino at the top of the hour. Loose on the lead in its traditional Sunday position. I've already seen Steve Bick in the building, so we don't have to worry about that angle. And I know we have the 4-star Dave for $500,000 in grade 1. And I know we have, the 4-star Dave bar. Is that what it is? A bar. And I understand all that. But quick call in open might have been the most accomplished horse for course, if you believe in such things as Saratoga, ever. I mean, it's not close when you compare them. I think Quick Call won back-to-back 4-goes. 4-star Dave won the Daryl's Joy once. I think he set the course record. I know he won the Empire as a juvenile on the dirt. But Quick Call, and I'll tell you one thing. Nowadays, I think they charge $5 for lifetime PPs. You hit Quick Call, you pay that money, and you parse out the Saratoga ones. It's unbelievable, the disparity. And as I said, his Forgos weren't grade ones. Once again, my daily opportunity to knock that product. They were grade one races, and he won 2 of them. One of them, I think, was a 4-horse photo finish. It was fantastic. And they give him a sprint race, which is completely appropriate. We didn't do turf sprints in New York except for the Jaipur very often, but he is, to me, the most accomplished horse of the ones that you consider horse for course, because when you look at his non-Saratoga races, you're like, how'd he do it? Sydney Waters. How'd he do it? And look it up someday.
I definitely.
Well, I guess you don't even have to pay the lifetime PPs. You go on Equibase.
Oh,
you
right.
You don't get all the same data, but you can do the math pretty quickly.
And you can pull up the chart. Well, that long ago, I don't know.
I don't think so.
The chart, yeah, but yeah, you're going to get the results and whatnot.
So the Quick Call.
I have it. I had it the 9 on top, whether it was turf or dirt. They're still on the turf, but I'm going to use uncashed here. A horse that hasn't.
Apparently, Larry Ravelli's not saddling
on the turf.
The horse.
Yeah, Larry Ravelli, who was scheduled, but
rare that we have that type of information. But we're pretty sure Larry's not saddling the 9.
But I just thought this one. The sire has produced some nice turf winners, including a horse called Yes, I Am Free that did very well on the turf. And so I'll put some trust in the trainer, a horse obviously with plenty of talent, switches over to the turf today. Irod Ortiz on board, uncashed on top for me. Nonay Hudson and Eyewitness both going out for WW. Wesley Ward, turf sprints. Enough said there. And both of these have proven that recently. Turf sprint stake down at Churchill, a winner, Nonay Hudson, and a couple of stakes wins coming into this in the last 2 starts for Eyewitness. So I think they're very, very tough. Brighter days ahead for Joe Sharp. Moved to the turf last time and ran well, working well. Interesting also in here. And in fact, I put that one in the I was Nonay Hudson and Eyewitness. I had them 2nd and 3rd, and then to the 4th. I was looking at for a moment. I looked up at my dirt picks, but this one's still on the turf. So turf 9, 1, 3, and 7.
In the main body in the turf race, you have 10 horses. I will not bat an eye if 8 of them win. It's wide open to me. I don't have a fervent opinion in here, but and I've said it before, and I don't settle on short price horses if that's your feeling. 7, 10, 1. Brighter days ahead to me. Joe Sharp off the turf debut at Ellis. He's going to have to run a little faster, but I think he's in the mix. Gaslight Dancer on the outside for Mike Maker, 2 starts this year, including off the bench, winning a listed stakes, and then Nonay Hudson. But to me, these are the types of races that the people who bet horizontals, I'd love to just sit, because to me it's 8 deep, and I don't think many people are playing 8 deep in a horizontal. And I like I said, I think if you ran it 10 times, there'd probably be 8 different winners.
Yeah.
It's wide open, and I just don't know how you get at least. And people say, well, why is it the same thing for you with the trifecta? Because it only affects one race. I can pass the race. The horizontals can't pass the race.
Yeah,
that's
you can in theory pass by hitting the all button, but then you're the cost of your ticket.
Wow.
Race number 10 today. I'm going to be interested to see where you go, because I have written at the top of the page, this is a rough bunch, I thought. State bred maiden 30 claimers going 6.5, and it was hard to jump here with.
And by rough,
confidence.
You didn't mean hard knockers and salty group, right? And I think, I'll put it to you this way. When they put the numbers up, I have a horse in here that, boy, their final beaten lengths here, it's even hard for me to imagine. I have them in the trifecta, but first time tag will help there. All right, here we go. 10, we land on the same horse. Strange as that is. Strange fruit for me. This has been a tag horse. I like Pat Reynolds' work. The last race I thought was solid, going 7. They get 6.5. We're on the outside. Some speed will be helpful. I have Magnolia win, Katie Davis, a big price in here well beaten, but hitting the board in the last. And then Northway, who has been beaten 12, 20, 15, and 10, is my third pick, but first-time tag, 10-3-1.
Yeah, it's tough to go here with any confidence, but I used the 10
After you
on
get through
top
the
as
ninth,
well.
you got this. You deserve it.
Showed a little bit of punch last time. That's all you're looking for with this group. Northway, as you say, gets some class relief, and Maggie, a little turf to dirt move in the second start of the year, could move that one forward. There's some back numbers that are going to match up with these. I have a 10, 1, 4, and 2. Just let me remind people over here today, I'm certain it is the first edition of the Low Rollers contest for the year. I always tell people contests play a lot of fun. You have to think a little differently with your handicapping. And the Low Rollers every Thursday and Sunday up here, you spend $40, $10 goes into the prize pool. You get a betting card for $30. You make 5 $2 win place and show bets during the afternoon. Whatever you make on your card, you keep. But if you move up the leaderboard, you get a nice prize perhaps as well. So if you're headed up to the track today, maybe give it a shot. People who have heard me on TV before and have tried it have had a lot of fun. And then you can, if you like the contest, we have the tourney bets side of things at capitalotb.com. And speaking of OTB, the Clubhouse Racebook today, double promotion with match bet and exact award, I believe, the double promotion today. But a little extra fun at the Clubhouse today.
You know, our man was at Longchamp, right?
Yeah, and handing out winners like candy.
Must be an easy game across the pond. Hopefully we'll find out with our goal is to take young Anthony for his 18th birthday. He doesn't know it yet. And trust me, he's not watching his father now to Deauville because he is an August baby. But Steve Bick will be on board for the Sundays and little as nice a respite before Saratoga as I could imagine. Yeah. All right. He stays. I go, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great Sunday. I think that's very good.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. The new Capital OTB wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with the new Capital OTB wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.